Welcome back to the Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure, where we currently are in the administrative district, because I first noticed last time that we still have an open quest in Armorica village, and since one quest typically isn't quite enough for an episode, I then remembered from my last playthrough a hidden side quest in the CPD. I wasn't certain if it was today, so I checked it out, and indeed it is here with Pierre. Margaret. What is happening? Margaret, how could you do this to me? You never had eyes for other men before. What changed? I have to do something before I lose her for good. I must. It's Vice Commissioner Pierre. Not often you see him on the first floor. It looks like something's troubling him. But the SSS? How long have you been standing here, man? Don't tell me you heard what I was saying just now. Well, we didn't catch anything specific, if that makes you feel better. Though he did mention something about Margaret having eyes for other men. Oh, could that be the name of your favorite hostess, Vice Commissioner? How dare you! You watch your slanderous mouth! Margaret's the name of my missus! Missus? You mean your wife? Yes, you fool! Between losing my wedding ring and being passed over for the role of commissioner, she's been nagging me like never before. Wait, what am I doing telling you all of this? That's right, the vice commissioner came off as pretty, whipped when he lost his ring. It was months ago, but from the sound of things, it's still giving him grief. So be it, I have no other choice. Beggars can't be choosers at times like this. Look alive, SSS, I'm giving you a top secret mission straight from your vice commissioner. Top secret? What are you talking about? I'll be frank, I would like you to investigate my wife. You want us to look into your old lady? Would utilizing your position for private matters not violate department policy? You let me worry about department policy. Time is of the essence here. Consider it a formal support request or whatever they're called, if it makes you feel better. Now, what do you say? I guess we could help him out. Okay. You clearly need a hand, so can you start over from the beginning? You really help me, man? Good. I'll tell you everything you need to know, but not out in the open. Follow me up to my office, we can discuss the details there. Your wife has been seeing a host. That's right. As I understand it, she's been going to several such clubs lately. However, there's one host in particular whom she's been meeting with in secret. And you're positive this man is a host? I was about to ask the same thing. Don't you think you should have a little more faith in your wife? I do, but I decided to risk it all to find out for sure. That's how I come across the evidence in her purse. Margaret is meeting with a mystery man named Clyde. He was right there in her daily planner. What kind of man has a name like that? It's a stage name. He has to be a host. I wouldn't call that irrefutable, but I won't say he's categorically wrong either. Dude's grasping for every story you can find. So you think she's seeing a host, do you? Sorry to tell you, but I've never heard of one who goes by Clyde, and believe me, I would have. What? Seriously, Vazzy? Hey, it's a social business. Generally speaking, I know the names of all the hosts working the clubs in the entertainment district. I can't rule out the chance that he's some rookie who slipped my notice through. Oh, wait a minute, you seem awfully knowledgeable about all of this. Don't tell me you're a new addition to the SSS, one who is, in fact, a host? Why, yes. You scoundrel! You're a member of a police force. What would people say if I found out what you did off duty? Please try to calm down, Vice Commissioner. What matters right now is figuring out what exactly your wife has been up to. That's right. And trust us, we already tried to lecture him on that particular issue. There's no getting through to him. Their words, not mine. Back on topic, you mentioned searching for your wife's purse, correct? Not that I condone the act. But did you find anything else that might benefit our investigation? Well, let me think. Ah, now I remember. Her appointment reminders also had a location penciled in alongside them. Apparently she's been visiting the restaurant in Central Square almost every afternoon. The restaurant in Central Square? You mean being tapped? If it's Clyde truly is the host, why would he meet your wife in broad daylight? It's not uncommon. A little secret tryst while the husband's at work. It happens more often than you'd think. Plenty of hosts have regulars they only meet with during the day. Then I'm right, aren't I? Again, Vice Commissioner, settle down. And could you stop riling him up on purpose, Wazi? Who? Me? Why, I'd never. At any rate, I think we have a good grasp on the situation now. Would you mind stepping back and leaving the investigation to us? Fine. Whatever you think is best. Just make sure you get to the bottom of this. But do so with the utmost discretion. Am I clear? Understood. We'll get right to it. Man, I can't believe we agreed to this. To be fair, the Vice Commissioner did seem genuinely concerned about his wife. I think it's worth investigating until we find the truth of the matter for ourselves. If we must. So, where do we begin? Let's try a restaurant in Central Square first. If his wife has been there with his alleged hosts often, we might be able to get some information from the two directly. That sounds as good a place to start as any. Shall we off? Why is he so into this? Pierre's marital peril. Look. You have a keen eye, Margaret. Forgive me if I'm being out of line, but you truly are wasted on your husband. Oh, Clyde, you always have such a way with words. That's the man we're told about, and sure enough, he's with the Vice Commissioner's wife. So, this is Clyde, is it? He doesn't look like any host I've ever met before. We should grab a seat nearby so we don't call any attention to ourselves. There's a chance we'll manage to find something out. Understood. Let's split up and sit at different tables then. Ah yes, so I looked over that pamphlet from before, and after seeing those photos, well, I just about fell in love on the spot. Do you now? Perhaps the two of us could go and visit sometime then? If you'd like, I could even arrange for a room at the hotel. Oh no, there's no need for that. I've already gone. The view was just magnificent, not a single thing to complain about. That's wonderful. And it certainly simplified things too. And now we can move the plans forward a bit and... They do seem comfortable around each other. It looks like we're planning a trip to Michelin together. Still, something seems off. To start, the guy's being way too much of a kiss-ass. We still don't have any decisive evidence yet, though. Let's keep listening in then. Well now, with that out of the way, I'll just be excusing myself. Of course, and I see you again at the club. At Neue Blanc in the Entertainment District, yes. You can expect me there, ma'am. I wouldn't want to keep you from what you've been dreaming of any longer than necessary. I can hardly wait. I guess the date's over. What shall we do, Lord? We need to find out anything concrete. Let's keep tailing them. Wendy Vasi and I will go after Clyde. Ellie, Theo, Noel, you three follow Margaret. Make sure you don't get spotted no matter what. Understood. Let's blow this joint. Things are heating up nicely. Sorry to keep you waiting, Clyde. I bought what we discussed. Clyde received a briefcase. Ah yes, thank you very much, sir. So, how did things go? Very well, actually. She's been quite enthusiastic about the idea. We'll be closing the deal later at Neue Blanc. That's good to hear. Well, it's almost time for the next cruise ship to leave. I'll head back to Michelin and make sure everything is in order. It's all up to you now, Clyde. Secure this contract and I'll rocket you straight to the top of the firm. I won't let you down, sir. Okay, Clyde. You've got this. There he goes. The guy sure is fired up. From the sound of it, he's meeting up with the Vice Commissioner's wife at Neue Blanc. What should we do now? No need to keep tailing him now that we've got what we need, right? Yeah, let's contact Ellie and the others. We should regroup at Police HQ for now. I think we have just enough to nail down who this Clyde person really is. Afterwards, Lloyd contacted Ellie and the others who had started shadowing the Vice Commissioner's wife. They decided to meet in the police department to relay the information to the Vice Commissioner. Well, how did the investigation go? Has my wife been having an affair with a host or what? Please calm down, Vice Commissioner. Ellie, what happened when you trailed Miss Margaret? Well, we watched her as closely as we could, but we didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. She eventually went back home to the residential district. And she didn't meet anyone else on the way. However, she does plan to meet with Clyde person at Neue Blanc later. What? What does he think he's doing, taking my wife to a seedy place like that? Oh, at the last straw, I assemble an entire SWAT team and storm Neue... I told you to calm down, Vice Commissioner. Last thing you want to do is send armed officers there, you know, considering who owns the place. Well, what am I supposed to do then? For every second we waste, that host gets closer to sinking his lectures thanks to my Margaret. I don't think you have anything to worry about her falling prey like that. At least not as far as hosts are concerned. What do you mean? Vasi had it figured out from the start. But I don't think this Clyde is a host at all. Pardon me? Well, if he isn't a host, then what an alias's name is he? A salesman. From what we could tell, Clyde is most likely a salesman. A salesman? Going off his speech pattern, it did sound like he wanted to sell something. Just not his body or a good time. Exactly, his attitude itself is proof that he's anything but a host. Gentlemen such as myself work hard to give lonesome madams a brief reprieve from their otherwise painfully mundane lives. A top-class host escorts his lady with courtesy, but he would never humble himself more than necessary, beyond that to grovel. I don't know if I would put quite like Vasi did, but my conclusion is more or less the same. From what I could tell, Clyde and your wife didn't look at all like they were having an affair. If pushed, I'd say they came off more as a buyer and seller. That's the impression I got anyway. Seeing as we've met several times now, it wouldn't be unreasonable to say they're working out a business deal of some kind. Even if that's true, just what sort of purchase is he sweet-talking my wife into? Well, if we keep running with this theory, I think we can figure out what kind of salesman he is. Clyde most likely deals in... Now, last time I actually figured this out because we met Margaret in the interlude chapter where she was watching at houses, at the villas in Michelin. And that's how I came to it's a real estate broker. Real estate. So he was trying to sell her property. Now that you mentioned it, Michelin came up during their conversation at Wingsept. At first I thought it was about vacation, but the pamphlet suggested otherwise. Yeah, it was probably promoting upscale properties for sale in Michelin. Plus, after we tailed him to the harbor district, Clyde received something from a man in a suit. That's right, the way we spoke to each other gave me the sense that it was his boss. He might have been delivering him a contract of some sort that needed her signature. If we piece all this together, Clyde is a real estate agent who's been in talks with your wife about buying a property. And it's going smoothly. Miss Margaret was so receptive, she even went to Michelin herself to scope out the location. Assuming this is all true, it would explain why she's been meeting with this man so often. Hey, yeah, it's all starting to fall into place. And today we entered the final negotiations, which means the contract will be signed during their meeting at Noye Blanc. Yes, I think I get the gist of it now. Wait just a second. That would mean Margaret is trying to buy property in Michelin without even consulting me, wouldn't it? I'm not made of money. Does she know how little a vice commissioner makes? Just how does that woman expect to scrounge up that kind of mirror? Maybe she took out a loan? That's a possibility. You may have even convinced her to take out an unreasonably large one. This is worse than I could have imagined. I know what I must do. I'm going to storm into Noye Blanc myself. I'm not going to let the sharks swindle my wife right underneath my nose. I give this Clyde fellow a piece of my mind and drag Margaret out of there if it's the last thing I do. Thus spoke the hand-packed husband. I feel we just flipped some horrible switch inside of him. I tell you what, we're already here, so why don't we all go and lend you a hand? It wouldn't be wise to charge into Noye Blanc all by your lonesome, don't you think? I can't argue with that, but is that really the reason you want to go? You have a real penchant for chasing drama, you know that, Vazzy? I haven't the slightest clue what you mean. Regardless, if we don't hold him back, I highly doubt anyone else will. Yeah, we don't get much choice. I'm not too stoked about it, but I think I can get us into the place. My old pal Zax is probably on bouncer duty at the door right about now. What the devils are you all mumbling about over there? I'm headed for Noye Blanc, and you're coming with me. That's final. Yes, sir. And that's what's up. Think you can let us squeeze on by, Zax? Oh, and we want to keep this a secret from Shirley and Uncle Sigmund, but I'm sure you already knew that part. I was just wondering when you'd show up again. Didn't think it would be an errand boy, though. You really have lost your touch, huh, Commander Randolph? Just like the young Miss said. Stop calling me that already. I think this was the same Jäger we saw in front of Crimson & Co. before. Alright, I look the other way this once. Think of it as a little favor from me to you. Just don't stir up any trouble inside, got it? I won't say a peep to a young miss or the vice leader either. Sound good? Just dandy. Well, I played my part. Looks like they haven't arrived yet, so you'd better get inside if you want to ambush them. Think I'm gonna sit this one out, though. That's fine, we should keep a lower profile anyway. Well, I'm going in one way or another. Now decide amongst yourself who else will be joining me. Someone's worked up about this. His bravado has carried him too far to back down now. I'll go. I'll be looking forward to this since we took this request. The Vice Commissioner, Lloyd, and myself should be plenty, yes? Yeah, that should work. The rest of us will remain here on standby then. Make sure to contact us with your Enigma if you need backup. Will do. Okay, you two, let's head inside. Yes, in we go! Okay, we requested that your wife and that man be seated at the table over here once they enter the club. I see. That'll do just fine. And if it turns out he really is some crooked real estate agent, I'll see to his arrest myself. Believe me when I say I'd love to see that. Don't look now, but I think that's them over there. Excuse me, I have a reservation for 2 under Clyde. Ah yes, right this way, sir. My, but this is a fancy club. Oh, is this your first time visiting, Margaret? I would think you've already seen everything Cosmo has to offer with your husband so high up in the police. Oh please, that's a riot. He may be the vice commissioner, but his salary is peanuts. He'd much rather drink the night away with some hostess on a dingy bar than take his own wife out to dinner. My apologies then. It may only be noon, but allow me to kickstart the proceedings by buying you a drink. I'd be happy to accept. Don't worry, Vice Commissioner. Quite you, I don't need you telling me what to do. So, what if this naughty little tap room is beyond my means? A dingy bar suits me better. What's so wrong with it? Nothing besides your overwhelming inferiority complex. Bringing him with us was a mistake. Shall we get down to business then? Clyde retrieved what appeared to be a contract from his briefcase. As he requested, the purchase agreement for the villa in Michelin's residential area. Simply sign your name on the dotted line, it's all yours. Oh, I've been waiting for this. I would be more than happy to sign. You're right, it's a contract for property at the resort. So what's the plan now? We still haven't learned whether this deal is on the up and up or not. Stay. Stay. Stay away from my wife, you charlatan! What? Pierre? Oh no. This can only go well. What in the world are you doing here? Cancel this deal at once, Margaret. Miss Cook DeRita is swindling you. I beg your pardon. Now hold on just a moment. Crooked, I haven't done anything wrong in the least. Oh, funny joke, comedy man, you can't fool me. Pierre? You're whining and dining my wife buttering up to take some kind of ridiculous loan on his property, aren't you? Pierre? It'd be a cold day in Gehenna before I let you sink your grubby claws into us like that. Pierre? Stay silent, woman, as the CPD's vice commissioner. Pierre? I'm sorry, Snookums. That was the quickest turn I've ever seen. Did you hear that whip crack? You go, Margaret. Goddess, how do I put up with you? You're supposed to be a vice commissioner. How could you so blindly jump to the wrong conclusion and treat this man like a criminal? Have you no shame? Well? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Hold on. Are you saying this is all a misunderstanding? Wait, is it? Well, now I'm hooked. Go on, Margaret. Spill the tea and don't drop a leaf. Very well. Firstly, Clyde here is a respectable realtor who deals in luxury properties. Your assessment was wrong to begin with. There's nothing crooked about him at all. But I don't understand, we don't have nearly enough funds to splurge for something like that. Actually, I recently took up trading stocks in my spare time and I've been making a tiny profit ever since. These past few days have earned me more than your salary could in half a decade. Stocks? To be honest, my patience with you has reached its limits. You're a pitiful man who can hardly look his own wife in the eye. Even your position was only earned through luck and connections. And I don't know if it's just so you can avoid being at home with me, but your late-night drinking binges are straining our finances. You were in a much better mood when you thought you were the next commissioner in line after the old one was dismissed. But when the other vice commissioner was chosen over you. Your sour grapes have made you grouse and complain incessantly ever since. Isn't that a little harsh, ma'am? Quite honestly, I didn't think I could live with you any longer. That was the reason I consulted Clyde. I hoped to use my earnings to purchase a home for myself. My plan was to separate from you before eventually filing for a divorce. Originally, that is. Out come the claws. Now it's getting good. Were you born without the ability to feel compassion? Wait, did you just say originally? I did. You organized all this because you were afraid of losing me, didn't you? Up to now, you've been too afraid of me to step foot in the house. I'm impressed that you went through all of this. So tonight, I want you to come home so that we can sit down and talk this through. Together. Margaret. I'm very sorry, Clyde, but we're going to have to put this purchase on hold. That can't be, Margaret. we were so close. It's not as if I've cancelled the deal entirely, but it was wrong of me to negotiate alone. I look forward to discussing this again in the future. Pierre and I may not be separating, but the property still interests me. I'm sure I'll purchase it eventually. I would have preferred to close the deal today, but I suppose I can't force you to sign a contract. I'll just excuse myself then. It turns out Clyde wasn't guilty of anything in the end. Makes me feel kind of bad for suspecting him the way we did. Oh, who cares about his feelings? What matters is that we kept the Vice Commissioner's sinking marriage afloat. I should be going too, Pierre. I see you again tonight. We have plenty to discuss, so come straight home after work, understood? Yes, Snookums. And so he dons the leash yet again. Excellent work today, SSS. We're glad that everything worked out in the end. It's a relief to know your wife wasn't being taken advantage of. That's all well and good, yes. But now I'm going to be paying out of the nose for a villa I've never even seen before. Thank the goddess we're not getting a divorce at least. I suppose we can use the new place as a weekend retreat. Margaret did seem charmed by it, for what it's worth. Yeah man, sometimes you gotta give in and let the lady have what she wants. Besides, the funds are coming out of her own stock market earnings in the first place. Which is a whole different can of worms. How did Margaret even manage to... as if I needed another reminder of how much more capable she is than me. You reap what you sow, as they say. Be that as it may, as long as I'm still a married man at the end of the day, I'm grateful. You have my thanks, SSS. Anytime, Vice Commissioner, you can always count on us. We just saw ourselves out now. That went very different to how these things went in with the Vice Commissioner in Trails from Zero. Good, but let's be happy for the Vice Commissioner and on to the next quest in Armorica. And that was from the village mayor or elder or what was it called? Chief. Just what does my fool of a son think he's doing? It's concerning, yes. I believe there's a possibility he's been... Hello, Chief Tolta. You called for the special support section? Oh, and Mr. Hayworth is here too? There you all are. I've been waiting. I take it you've seen the request. Thank you for coming. Sure thing. Why are you here though, Mr. Hayworth? As it so happens, he has a stake in this particular problem as well. After talking things over, Chief Tolta and I decided it would be prudent of us to consult with the SSS. Considering the circumstances, we thought the situation called for a professional investigation. If that's the case, this must be a serious issue. I recall the description mentioning that this had to do with your son, correct? Yes, it's a very complicated matter. I can brief you on all the details if you're ready to accept the request. We're ready to help, Chief Tolta. Tell us everything we need to know. Thank you, SSS. I'm in your debt once again. As for what's going on, my son Derek has been acting strangely recently. I get the sense he has some kind of sinister plan in the works. Sinister? Is it really that bad? Well, I don't know the details yet. As a matter of fact, I don't know what's going through that boy's head at all. You see, not long ago, Derek told Harold that Armorica would no longer be doing business with him. Really? Why would he do that? Haven't you always been in excellent terms with the village, Mr. Hayworth? Yes, I've done my best to be kind to the people here ever since we started doing business. I came to see Chief Tolta today because I was afraid there had been some kind of misunderstanding. And let me guess, the chief here was just as out of the loop as you were. Am I right? Yes, you are. We never intended to wrong Mr. Hayworth like this. Losing a customer like him would have been a grave loss for our village. I'm sure my son is fully aware of it as well. This is certainly strange. What reason could Derek have to go over your head and make a decision like that so rashly? That's exactly what Harold and I have been discussing. In doing so, a certain questionable individual came to mind. Derek has been meeting with a foreigner from out of state recently. A foreigner? We don't have many details on him at the moment. All we know is that he and Derek have been talking behind closed doors. Nothing so suspicious, quite like a secret meeting. Quite right. As such, my request to you is to investigate this foreigner for us. If he is truly plotting some sort of nefarious scheme, we need to put a stop on it at once. I apologize if this comes off as rude, but is something like this truly worth submitting a support request for? Surely the logical approach would be to simply speak with your son yourself. Don't think that's our call, Todd. I'm embarrassed to say so, but the young lady is correct. Derek and I have been at odds on how best to run the village for a long time. I've tried to confront him about this, but I could never get an answer out of him. As his father, it pains me to admit that. No wonder you decided to consult us. That about brings us up to speed. We began investigating immediately. I was thinking we could start by interviewing each of the villagers. Feel free to do so. Incidentally, Derek and Elkin are delivering produce to the city right now. You may be better off speaking with them last. Thank you for looking into this, SSS. I hope you can get to the bottom of things. We'll be doing everything we can, Mr. Hayworth. It doesn't matter how I rationalize it. Derek's secret meetings with that foreigner are exceedingly suspicious. If this does turn out to be a nefarious plot, we need to put a stop on it at once. Best of luck. I've met with Derek quite often while doing business in this village, and every time he struck me as a polite, diligent young man. If he has indeed gotten himself wrapped on something unsavory, I want to help him. Please look into this, SSS. I hope you can get to the bottom of this. Derek hardly ever comes home these days. I hope he hasn't gotten himself mixed up in any dangerous business. Nobody here? The foreigner who's been coming by is quite a cheerful fella. He's never without a smile. Something about it really puts me at ease. Excuse me, I have a few questions for you. Lloyd asked about the foreigner who's been visiting Armorica village lately. Oh, him? Well, if I had to describe him, I might say considerate? Considerate? Can you elaborate? Once he was passing by the children as they were playing, and they accidentally got his clothes dirty. Rather than raise a fuss, he paid it no mind. In fact, he even gave him some candy. I didn't decide whether to thank, compliment, or apologize to him. He had me speechless. Interesting. Well, thanks for your time. This foreigner guy who's been coming to the village gave us some candy. I thought he'd yell at us for getting his clothes all dirty, but he didn't. Man, it's a good thing nice people like him exist. There's something up with that monocle guy. He acts nice and he smiles all big, but his eyes look like they're hiding something. Mom spanked Camille the other day. His butt was all wet like an apple. Excuse me, I have a few questions for you about the foreigner. Oh, him? He's got a keen eye, I can tell you that much. What do you mean by that? Well, the man's become infatuated with our honey. He was raving about it being the surefire hit that he could sell across the entire continent. Sell across the entire continent? What is he, a trader or something? I've never heard him outright say it, but that seems likely. With discerning taste like that, I'm sure he's already made a name for himself. I'd be thrilled if my grandson were to follow his example. Is that so? Well, now we know that dude is some kind of merchant. That's good information to have. Thank you for your help. Not a problem. Feel free to talk to me again anytime. There's been a guy in the village lately who's dressed to the nines. He saw grandson was such a capable lad. Of course, Gramps was thrilled. I could tell he was just flattering me well. Evidently that foreigner has been around the block a few times. He immediately sensed my love for Celie and shit me on. What a great guy. A nice man has been hanging around here lately. He is from a famous foreign company. I've never heard him brag about it. It's nice to know that there's still some people with class in this world. I borrowed a book called True Mysteries of Crossbow from the library. The story of a man searching for his lost hat gave me chills. That's a spooky one, alright. Still, if you don't have a hat, how can you possibly cry out to people asking them to find it? And now it's not scary anymore. I was really getting into that tale before Gotham went and ruined it. I got to teach him how to properly appreciate a ghost story. Excuse me, I have a few questions for you. Oh, the man who's been staying here on and off? Well, he's pleasant enough to be around. Very polite at that. Polite, huh? I see, and would you happen to know this man's name? Let me think. I believe it was Minif? Or at least that's what he wrote in the guest registry. Minif. At least we have a name to work with now. Is there anything else you could tell us about this individual? Well, he wasn't too chatty, so there's not much to tell. He did call Derek up to his room a couple times to talk about something or another. That's pretty much all I know. Sounds like the secret meetings Chief Tolta has been more about. Yeah, not the most game-changing information, but it's something. Thank you for your help. Not a problem. I'm happy to be of service. But if you really want to thank me, why don't you order some food while you're here? And that does it for cheats. Before I had Stefan, I'd always wanted to be a maid at the hotel. After helping out at the inn, I have to say, it's enjoyable work. Okay, we have more info to go off of now that we've spoken to the villagers. The man is named Minif and he's believed to be a foreign merchant. He's supposed to be a kind man as well. The type that's courteous, patient, and caring with kids. On the other hand, we don't know why he's here in the first place. That's suspicious in and of itself. You make a good point. Yes, we never learn the motive of any of these conversations. The biggest thing that stands out is him talking with a village chief's son in secret. That doesn't pass the smell test. I'm inclined to agree. It's incongruent with everything else we heard. I say we should follow up on that. Wait, look over by the entrance. That's Elkin, the one who went with Derek to the city. He must have just gotten back. Let's go speak with him. Elkin's been late ever since that Minif person sold him an orbital truck for cheap. I understand the feeling, but he had better not be so over the moon that he gets into an accident while driving. He sold you a car for cheap? Excuse me, Elkin, wait. We've got a couple of things we'd like to ask you. Oh yeah, what can I do for you? Let me guess, you came to ask about my shiny new orbital truck here? No, sorry to disappoint. Ah, really? But it's the wrong company's latest model. Minif gave it to me for real cheap. Hold on just a moment. By Minif, you mean the foreigner who's been visiting the village recently, correct? Just how cheap are we talking here? Get this. I got it for the low price of just 50,000 mirror. Only 50,000 mirror? What I wouldn't give to be that lucky just once. Does the goddess have it in for me or something? Easy, Noel. I can see you turning as green as your hat. Sorry, force of habit. Moving past Noel's mechanophilia, the average market value of a new truck should be around 500,000 mirror, which makes the amount you paid exorbitantly low. That would be a 90% discount. It sounds more like charity than a bargain. Well, he said the price cut was so we could make our work easier without breaking our budget. He and Derek have been working out some sort of plan. I guess it's coming along. That minute, I tell you. My hat's off to him. Plan? Shoot, Derek said I'm not supposed to talk about it. Pretend you didn't hear that. Anyway, this Minif guy's a real deal. So you say. Wait a minute, did you come back alone, Elkin? Chief Tolta said you and Derek went to the city together to deliver produce. We did, but Derek told me he'd catch a bus back to the village later. He said he had some business to take care of at the hotel in the entertainment district. And now a meeting with Minif, I'm guessing? Hey Lloyd, this could be our chance. To speak with him face to face, yeah, probably. We should head back and check things out. Thank you for speaking with us, Ilken. This was very helpful. No problem. Not that I get what you're after, but hey, good luck all the same. Alright, we'll meet up again tomorrow then. Good talking to you as always. Wait, aren't you? Pardon us? You're Derek from Armorica Village, correct? That's me. There's something I can help you with? I probably should have opened with this, but we have of course the police, special support section. We have a few questions we'd like to ask. That's so. Let me guess, my father sent you here, didn't he? So even call the police, huh? That's just rich. He had his reasons? I already know his game. He's snooping around to find out what I'm up to, right? Well, I have nothing to hide. Ask me anything you want. Not the reaction I was expecting. I'll get straight to the point then. We were told that you've been meeting in secret with a man named Minif recently. Would you mind explaining why? Whatever, it's not as though my father can do anything about it. Minif has been helping me out with a little project of sorts. It's all part of my plan to revolutionize the village. Revolutionize the village? Why would you keep something so important from your father? Well-intentioned or not, doesn't it concern him just as much as does you? I've tried talking to my father about this kind of thing more times than I can count. All he ever has to say is that I've lost sight of our ideals and that making drastic changes won't solve anything. But if things continue the way they are, a rural village like ours has no future. Real, meaningful reform is the only way for us to keep Armorica alive. My father doesn't understand that one bit. I see, and it was from there that you encountered this Minif character. Unlike my father, he's actually willing to listen to my ideas. In fact, he's helped me discover a huge opportunity for our village at Pierre. I plan on working with him to launch a major enterprise in the near future. You what? Can you even hear yourself right now? Mind your own beeswax, that's all I have to say to you. You got what you came for, right? I need to get back to the village if I don't mind. That was rather curt. Yeah, he totally blew us off. Hey, are any of you thinking what I'm thinking? Maybe we could try speaking with this Minif guy for ourselves? Good call. Maybe it'll give us a better idea of what the Jamoke's all about. What do you say we show ourselves in? Here goes nothing. Who is it? I didn't order any room service. Excuse me, we're looking for a Mr. Minif? I apologize for bothering you, but we're with the Crossbow Police Special Support Section. We have a couple of questions to ask you. Oh dear, you're police officers. When you say so sooner, come in, the door's unlocked. This feels almost too easy somehow. Maybe he's more of a wheeler dealer when you think? Alright, we're coming in. Pleased to make your acquaintance, I'm Minif. What brings you here today? Like I said, we have a few simple questions we'd like you to answer. Will that be alright? But of course, I would be delighted to help an officer of the law. Was there some kind of trouble in the area, perhaps? Not exactly, no. This pertains to you specifically. We want to know more about you and what brought you to Armorica Village. Could you start by telling us about yourself? Well, this is a surprise. But seeing as you're police officers, I suppose I have no reason not to cooperate. To reiterate, my name is Minif, and I'm a corporate executive. My responsibilities range from product development to sales and operations. I've been visiting Armorica Village to secure an important business deal on behalf of the Quincy Company. Did you say Quincy Company? Not ringing any bells personally. You heard of them, mademoiselle? In a sense, the Quincy Company is a famous international confectioner. They're one of the most prominent names in their field. You can even get their products here in Crossbow. Yeah, that does sound familiar. I think I used to buy their chocolates as a kid. I always paid more attention to what is in the wrapper than what is on them. That's quite alright, young man. I too was what one might call brand blind in my youth. You see, despite working for the company, I've never been one for treats. It's my long-term standing reputation as an irrefutable salesman, in fact, that led me to my current position. My apologies, I didn't mean to get us off track with my personal milestones. It's fine, we're the ones who asked. So about the business deal in Armorica you mentioned, would it happen to have something to do with Derek, the son of a village chief? He told us that it has something to do with the future of a village. Oh, did he now? In that case, I suppose there's no sense in keeping those details under wrap. Yes, Derek and I have indeed built a strong working relationship over these past several days. We were aware of that much. Could you elaborate? But of course! The Quincy Company is constantly seeking out new opportunities to grow our confectionery business. As such, the head office tasked me with a project to that effect. Our goal is to gain a foothold from which we can expand into Crossbell. In other words, you want to establish a subsidiary of a Quincy company here in our state? Precisely. I began my inquiry by paying a visit to the department store in the city, where I found it. The luxurious, high-grade honey produced in Armorica village. That honey is made with the lotus flowers from the village's fields. I do recall Mr. Hayworth praising it for its quality. And he should. That honey is a product of nature's bounty, passed down through the ages for generations. Seeing those fields was like a goddess herself showing me the way to a brand new confectionery venture. I call it the Armorican Honey Company. Armorican Honey Company? Not exactly pushing the envelope, but I won't deny it's pretty catchy. We plan on selling candies made primarily from Armorica Village's delectable honey. But in order to do so, we will need the full cooperation of the villagers themselves. And so I approached the incoming chief, Derek, with a most magnificent proposal. I asked if he would like to oversee the construction of a factory, as well as a new business enterprise. He offered to make Derek the manager of a Quincy company subsidiary. Naturally, my company would make full use of its sales and marketing expertise. The fields too would be overseen by our staff. We don't want to cause trouble for the villagers after all. On the contrary, we only wish to ease their life's burdens. Where do we intend on building a factory though? After discussing a great many possibilities, I've settled on utilizing villagers' private property on Old Armorica Road. Since it's only ever been used for storage, Derek was readily willing to agree to the arrangement. No doubt almost anybody would be under those terms, especially with how keen Derek is on revolutionizing the village. Everyone comes out a winner, isn't that just swell? So glad you understand. In my eyes, Derek's talents and strong sense of responsibility are more than enough to qualify him for the position. With that, I've divulged all of it I can. Does that answer your questions? It does. Thank you for your cooperation. I think we have a much better grasp on what's going on in the village now. Is there anything in particular that you would like to discuss further? Not at the moment, no. Sorry to take up your time. We'll be going now. No problem at all, officers. Come again anytime. Please take care. Where do we even begin? This is quite the plan we've put together. Evidently Minif is more shrewd of a man than we took him for. Those Spiel took some untangling, but it does sound like it could pay off big time. Seems too good to be true, honestly. At any rate, I think we've got all the answers we're looking for. Yeah, let's head back to Armorica Village. Chief Tolta is going to want to hear about this. I don't believe this. Minif is with a Quincy company? And then there's this whole Armorican Honey Company business? That's quite an extensive plan they have, and it involves building a factory on the village's private property, no less. Never did I take Derek as a type to pursue something like this. Has Derek returned to the village yet, by the way? That's right, I don't believe I see him around. He said he'd be returning to the village when you ran into him at the hotel. Well, I must confess that Derek doesn't come home very often these days. Instead, he's been renting a room for himself at the Ash Tree Inn. I understand Minif has been staying there as well. Perhaps that was Derek's reason for relocating. That way, his plans to industrialize our land could proceed without my knowing. What a shameful excuse of our father I am. I wouldn't be so sure about that. What if moving into the Ash Tree was actually Minif's idea rather than Derek's? Maybe it was him who was trying to keep you from catching wind of what's going on. What do you mean? I'll let our dashing leader here handle the details. Ignoring the first part, I'll do my best to explain. Is there something more to this than we realize, Lloyd? Keep in mind that I'm only speculating, but I have my suspicion about this Minif character. What do you mean? The plan he laid out for us would supposedly benefit everyone involved. Armorica Village gains a new industry while Quincy Company gains a subsidiary in a market they want to expand in. At a glance, it all seems well and good. Almost too good to be true, don't you think? Well, now that you mention it... As another point of concern, consider the ridiculously low price at which Minif sold a new orbital truck to Elkin. In this context, we can think of it as an upfront investment. An orbital truck isn't something you give to someone at random, not the prices they go for. I've never heard of one selling for only 50,000 Mira until now. What you two are getting at is that he knows he's going to make that Mira back, doesn't he? That's very strange indeed. A company as large as Quincy wouldn't normally invest this much capital in an unproven startup. They wouldn't, would they? I don't like where this is headed. It leads me to believe that Minif has an ulterior motive, one that's guaranteed to make him a profit. This is all just conjecture, of course, but I would still suggest that you keep what we're saying in mind. I will. We'll have to be very careful about how we approach this matter. And kudos on the fine investigative work, as this. I feel as though I finally understand what's going on here. Thank you for the help. Happy to, Chief Tolta. Are you saying you can handle it from here? We could continue investigating if you like. That's alright, you've done more than enough for now. As soon as I heard about their plan to build a factory on our property, I knew I could never support such a thing. I'll have to speak with Derek later and try to persuade him. Not just as his father, but as a chief. Perhaps that would be for the best. We'll be excusing ourselves then. Don't hesitate to follow up with us if there's anything else we can do. Of course, I'll be sure to call on you again if a need arises. I don't know what this Minif character is after, but for now Chief Tolta and I continue to exercise caution in this matter. Thank you for looking into things for us. We may need your help again. Derek is planning to reform a village with his Minif person? Perhaps he and his father's relationship is beyond the point of repair after all. So, and you said he might be at the Ash Tree Inn now. Oh, it's you again. Derek, we think we should try speaking with your father one more time. I've wasted enough words on that man already. The village chief is stuck in his old ways. He refused so much as even consider any of my reforms. I'd all but thrown in the towel before Minif showed up and gave me the opportunity I was looking for. My father can't be trusted with the future of Armorica. Minif and I will be the ones to pave the way instead. I can't shake the feeling that there's something suspicious about Minif. If only Derek could see that. Yes, but I doubt we'd be able to get to him without irrefutable evidence. Okay, I was wondering if he had something else to say or if he could overhear or something or... well, whatever. Anyway, I think with this I end this episode. Maybe I make it 2 episodes after? I don't know. I think about that later. Anyway, until next time then, I am Ace and don't get lost.